That's
And
good.
we
Good
are
stuff.
live
Yeah.
with another episode of the Sci-Fi Power Hour-ish. Thank you for joining. Um, this was supposed to be a, quick on-air review of The Predator, but unfortunately, I haven't seen that movie because I've been sick this weekend, and I only just got over it today, and I'm still not 100%, but I'm like better than I was
Thanks.
earlier this week.
Don't worry, folks. He'll be able to see it soon enough.
Yeah, I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. I'm gonna matinee that shit tomorrow.
Better hurry before it somehow pulls out of theaters quicker than usual.
I
I don't
mean,
feel that.
yeah, I think it's gonna be in theaters for a while. It made a decent amount of money Thursday, like 26 million, which isn't really indicative of anything, but maybe it'll do better, once they tally the entire weekend. So I'm not going to talk about that. So what have you guys been doing? What do you guys want to pimp out or anything before we jump into the topics at hand?
Well, I've been playing Doom this whole week.
Doom for the Switch.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah.
What have you been doing, Joel?
I'm going to be starting a special project of mine soon enough, but for now, I might as well hold my deck on the moment.
Okay. So
I'll tell you guys after cast, though.
All right. So this is like I said, I've been sick for half of the week. Like I was so sick that I didn't even go to work on Wednesday or Thursday or Friday because I was just sick. And only today have I finally gotten like well enough to really do anything. So, yeah. So yeah, that kind of messed up my that did not stimulate my economy. So,
I was about to say that was a raw joke there.
Well,
And it's like the tropical depression that's going through the Carolinas right above me.
Yeah. Or like that old joke says, where some rich old guys see a really hot young chick, and they're like, "Ooh, that's stimulating my economy." That did not stimulate my economy. Basically, or that dude who was a dine and dasher in Australia, who was a chess champion from from England, who had like a classic English accent. And he's like a British accent. He's like, "Excuse me, sir. Why get your hands off my penis?" And they put him in a headlock. You know your judo well. Like, what the fuck? But that's neither here nor there. Let's get to these.
And I think the topic that you were aiming for first is the DC Extended Universe.
Yes. The news has come out that Henry Cavill and Ben Affleck are out of the DCEU. So, I mean, your thoughts?
Looking at the writing records. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. I'm sorry, I couldn't help it.
Okay. Pinky?
Now, for the DC film universe, I have to say is they better get their stuff together, because though I've been hearing that the Aquaman movie had some first viewings, early screenings, and the results were mostly positive.
Yeah, I don't trust that. You want to know why I don't trust first viewings? Because you got to treat first viewings just like you treat people who watch movies at film festivals, right? They're getting to watch it before anyone else, and half the time the audience is stacked with people who are kissing the ass of the studio that put the movie out, or people that are just really excited about seeing something before anyone else, and they're on a high.
Yeah,
I think that's why I think that's why DMCA's came up.
There have been some movies that were ruined from the result of test screenings because of early test screenings didn't like the initial product, so they had to reshoot.
And not to mention, how many movies have we seen where the early test screenings, just recently, over the last 5 or 6 years, where the early tests, where there were like early people who saw it, who are heavily affiliated with the studio that put the movie out, like, yeah, this movie's great. They tweet, yeah, it's great, it's awesome. And then the movie comes out, and it's like, you motherfuckers, you got paid to say that shit. So I don't trust early screenings with these people. You can call me Downton Thomas if you want to. So I guess I'll give my thoughts. I'm gonna say good riddance to bad rubbish.
I was singing Hallelujah New Year, so I'm not blaming you there.
And the reason I'm saying good riddance, but I mean, like, here's the thing: this isn't Henry Cavill or Ben Affleck's fault. The problem lies solely in Warner Brothers. First of all, they put the wrong person in charge of this movie cinematic universe, which is Zack Snyder. I mean, you're looking at Henry Cavill. Like Henry Cavill had to basically play. Like Zack Snyder had to basically get Henry Cavill to play the most iconic superhero of all time, who is Superman. Like, there are people who don't read the comics or have seen the movies, and you show them a picture of Superman, they know who it is because he's that iconic, right?
Right.
So you had to basically take a character that's well known, well beloved. Like arguably Superman is the cornerstone of the superhero genre, because if you didn't have Superman, you wouldn't have the other superheroes that came after him. And you had to create that character and bring him to the silver screen yet again. And they got literally the worst fucking director they could find to do it.
Which is total BS. Because, seriously, how can you F up somebody that well known?
Well, if you're Zack Snyder, you can. I mean, but to be fair, not every director is equipped to handle certain things. Like Kenneth Branagh directed the first Thor movie. That's not a very good movie. It's not terrible, but it's not like very good. But here's the difference between Kenneth Branagh and Zack Snyder. Kenneth Branagh is a classically trained actor, and he's got chops for directing shit. Like, he's directed some really good movies. And he couldn't direct a good comic book movie. You understand what I'm saying? So even a really, really, really good director might not necessarily direct a good comic book movie, okay? But then you get someone who's like Zack Snyder, who's not a very good director, more or less.
And we can see where that goes.
And then you give him the most iconic superhero character of all time. So,
there goes potential.
So basically, I mean, you have two examples of the extremes. You have Kenneth Branagh, who is a really good director. Like, he's won awards and shit like that. Like, he's directed shit on Broadway. He's won the equivalent of like the Oscar for Best Director, except for plays and shit like that. So, I mean, Kenneth Branagh is really good. I mean, he's basically someone. I'm a professional chef. I'm a 3-star Michelin chef. And if you give him, you know, a subpar ingredient like Thor, he'll give you a basic dish, right? But then you give someone like Zack Snyder, who's like a short order cook at McDonald's, basically the equivalent of director to chef comparison. And you give him like, okay, here's Wagyu beef, here's
you give him top quality ingredients.
Here's quail eggs, and he's gonna take that, and he's gonna fix. It's gonna be some shit that's gonna get food poisoning. And so basically, what I'm saying is that you're dealing with someone who is just not a very good, and you gave him like one of the most iconic superhero characters, and he fucked it up. But it's not entirely Zack Snyder's fault either. It's WB doubling down on him. I'm like, he was like, why would you give him your most iconic character? Like, I don't understand that. But
yeah,
what can you say? What can you do?
Makes one want to hit their head over and over into a wall.
Yeah.
Wondering why.
And of course, it's not the. Of course, it's not. Though it wasn't the first comic book that Zack Snyder has directed. He has also directed 300, which is a graphic novel, and
Eh,
Watchmen, which is another graphic novel.
yeah, but the difference between 300 and Watchmen is that Watchmen was done by Alan Moore. And if you ask Alan Moore how he feels about that film, the guy who made it, he's like, I don't fucking like his interpretation of those characters. Because, I mean, if you've read the graphic novel for Watchmen and you watch the movie, Zack Snyder is someone who gets the graphical, he gets the graphics down, but it's like he doesn't seem to understand the point behind Watchmen. He doesn't get it. Zack Snyder is not subtle. He can't spell subtle. I don't think.
Ouch.
He probably spell it Suddle. It's subtle. And then 300, which is Frank Miller, and I mean both of those okay. Zack Snyder's interpretation of Watchmen is this dark, gritty thing, but I mean the comic is pretty dark, gritty, and fucked up anyway, so that works out fine. Although he misses the overall message of the comic. And then 300 is dark. It's Frank Miller, so it's dark and gritty and meant to be dark and gritty. That's the whole point. Didn't he do Sin City too, the first one?
Sin City 2?
Yeah, I think Zack Snyder also directed the first Sin City. Do you see a point here?
And he also directed Sucker Punch.
Yeah, but that movie was shit, so we can just kind of. I mean, it was shit compared to the normal shit that Zack Snyder does, which tells you something. But so basically, you have 3 films, all of which are dark and gritty. Can we agree? Watchmen was dark and gritty. The first Sin City was dark and gritty. 300 was dark and gritty. Now,
his Flee of Your House is dark and gritty.
So let me ask you a question. Do any of you think that Superman needs to be dark and gritty?
Nope. .exe.
No, that would be Batman.
I mean,
that fits his character.
I mean, did we need a dark and gritty Superman? We got one. We didn't need one, but we got one. And a hairy as fuck Superman at that.
No, because apparently dark and gritty equals realistic. Since the world is because the world is dark and gritty. The real world is dark and gritty.
Yeah, I don't believe it, but I mean, you get what I'm saying. It's like they go so dark and gritty, so fucking dark and gritty, that they forget that like
there's color in this world.
Well, not everything has to be dark and gritty. Like Superman shouldn't be dark and gritty. Superman should never be dark and gritty. Because the character doesn't work when he's dark and gritty, He's
the symbol of hope and peace.
Basically, yeah. Like it says in the old TV show, Truth, Justice, the American Way,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't work. Superman doesn't work if he's an emo, whiny little bitch. Like it just the character. Because, I mean, and especially if you're going to have Superman as a dichotomy between Batman, like, if they're both whiny, emo bitches, it really doesn't work. So, yeah. So, Henry Cavill is out. Zack Snyder, thankfully, is gone, so we don't have to see any more of his shitty-ass movies. Which makes me happy because, like I said, oh God, oh Jesus Christ, I've never hate watched a movie until I saw Man of Steel, which I'm glad I didn't watch that in the theaters. But a friend of mine owns a movie theater, so
you were lucky.
I went to I didn't watch it in the movie theater. I went and he has one of those Blu-ray projectors that you're supposed to have nowadays. And he bought it.
Quality.
And I mean, if you own a movie theater, you have to have a Blu-ray movie because like more and more things are moving to digital. So like you're getting a lot of Blu-ray players, Blu-ray stuff. It's a lot of bullshit. But basically, like
Yeah.
he had Man of Steel, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna watch it, and I don't have to pay to watch it, so I'll watch it while you test out your new thing. And I went in, I'm like, okay, I know this is gonna be bad, but I mean, it's not gonna be that bad. And I walked out pissed the fuck off with that movie.
Low expectations, lowered even more.
That reminds me. I remember back when Blu-ray was new. I've seen random videos about how Blu-ray doesn't make any bad movies any better, and how it's not the future, quote unquote.
Well, I mean, it isn't the future, but not because of the reasons probably those people argue. Blu-ray isn't the future because we have streaming. So, like I can pay $10 to Netflix, 10, 12, whatever dollars to Netflix and have access to thousands of movies, whereas I pay like $20 and that gets me one Blu-ray. So which one is more cost efficient? You know, like Sony went out of their way to fight the Blu-ray war, and at the end of the day, it didn't fucking matter because streaming's kicking everything's ass. So I mean, like here's how bad Man of Steel was for me. I would rather watch Superman 4 and the Quest for Peace on loop. Well, because at least it has Superman doing Superman shit. Like, oh man, Nuclear Man unbent the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Superman straightens it, leans it back again. Or, oh man, Nuclear Man tried to steal the Statue of Liberty. Superman puts it back where it belongs. You know, Superman doing Superman shit. Oh wait, we're fighting in the city. We can't fight in the city because there might be casualties. Let's take it into outer space. You know, Superman saving people and doing Superman shit. I mean, it's bad when arguably the worst Superman film ever made is better than
Once been
the new. It's been taken. Like, people used to think Superman 4 was the worst Superman film ever made. I beg to differ. Man of Steel is the worst Superman film ever made. It's terrible. Well, I mean, it's tied with Batman v Superman. They're both really bad. They were both really, really fucking bad. I mean, they border on being terrible. You know, like, I mean, could you imagine, like, if you were watching, like, one of the, you know, the old Superman films, like, before Zack Snyder was penned as the guy to lead everything, could you imagine us, like, an old George Reeves or Kyle Travers Superman, where he destroys half the city and then makes out with Lois Lane on the rubble?
I don't think so.
You'd be like, what the fuck is this shit? Yet people thought that was acceptable in Man of Steel. I personally think people who think that's acceptable, there's something wrong with their heads, but I mean, you know, and don't get me started with Ben Affleck, which, I mean, to be fair, Ben Affleck's interpretation of Batman was, like, his interpretation was good. The problem is that
It's due to Zack Snyder's direction of how Batman should act.
well, no, okay, his interpretation of Batman was good, but the problem is that Ben Affleck was playing a Batman that he should have been playing had there been like 3 or 4 previous Batman movies that he had been Batman in. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
It should have been a continuation, not a starter.
Like, okay, they should have done either an animated movie that had Ben Affleck doing the voice or whatever, where they do the Killing Joke. Something like that. You know what I mean? Like, there should have been some link. You cannot go in and have a dark emo fucking destroying half the city Superman and then have a dark gritty Batman where they pull a reason for these two characters to fight each other from out of their ass. And you're supposed to go along with it. Doesn't make any sense.
Makes as much sense as cotton candy.
And the sad thing is that here's the thing, we've already had these stories told in a much better format. I mean, if you look at this, the new animated Adventures of Superman, you had Batman versus Superman in that. You had in the Batman the animated series, had Batman versus Superman in that. Like, we've had this story told so much better in an hour-long format in 2-part episodes than anything, which is weird because a cartoon animation storyboard was able to tell the story better than David Goyer with 2.5 hours and a script.
Kind of disappointing.
Probably because they know more about the source material than Zack Snyder
or David Goyer or the WB execs who just gave this guy carte blanche to do whatever the fuck he wanted. So this isn't like, okay, this isn't the end of an era. This is the end. Well, this isn't the end of the world. This is the end. We're finally flushing the turd that was the Zack Snyder DC Cinematic Universe down the toilet into the sewers where it belongs. Because you notice the only WB DC on film that did well was the one film that had fucking nothing to do with Zack Snyder's shitty ass vision. You notice that?
Which one?
Wonder Woman.
Oh.
Yeah, and to be fair, Wonder Woman's not that good either. Like, it really isn't. It's a C grade movie, but I mean, if you're a C grade student and you're put in a class with F students, you're gonna look like an A student compared to the F students. So that's the issue with Wonder Woman. It's not that good of a movie, but compared to the shit that it's with,
it's better than Zero.
Expecting the Aquaman movie to be at least a D grade movie.
No, it's a C. Wonder Woman's a C. I would give Man of Steel a D- high F, like barely a D- on its best day, and if I'm charitable, and an F on when I just don't give a shit. Batman v Superman is a solid F because of convoluted storytelling, irreverence to the source material, and just shitty Deus Ex Machina. Plus, I'm sorry, Jesse Eisenberg is the shittiest Lex Luthor I've ever seen. Like, he's fucking terrible as Lex Luthor.
Could have been a perfect Joker or Riddler.
No, he would have been a shitty Joker. He probably would have been okay Edward Nygma, maybe a perfectly decent Edward Nygma, but a shitty Lex Luthor. I'm like, really? You're Lex Luthor? Really? Fuck off.
And what are you expecting from the upcoming Shazam movie?
I'm not gonna watch it. It's probably gonna be fine. It's got a lighter tone, which is good, I guess, because Shazam's supposed to have a lighter tone, because of the character. I mean, I'm not gonna watch it. I basically, after Justice League, I was like, after Batman v Superman, I'm like, I'm not watching these day one in the movie theater. So, like, Justice League, I basically went to someone's house and watched it bootlegged. I don't care. I didn't bootleg it.
And now we got to be prepared for the upcoming Joker origin story.
Yeah, I'm not watching that shit either. I'm done. I'm done.
It's not starring Jared Leto.
Let me put it this way. You don't get to make okay, unless you're doing the Red Hood origin story where, like, he's this comedian / magician who gets roped into wearing a red hood, and he's accidentally dumped into a vat of chemicals and Ace Chemicals by Batman, who tries to save him, but it's year one Batman, so he's not as sharp as he'll be in later years, and he gets dropped into the acid and Ace Chemicals. I don't give a fuck about your origin story. Don't care. Because that's the only one that's been called canon in the
DC.
The official Batman comic.
Yeah. So anything else they do, it's just going to be some bullshit. So I don't care. So, I mean, they can have Joaquin Phoenix or Jared. I don't care. Like, first of all, I don't really like Jared Leto's Joker. It's not very
Too
good.
edgy by Joker standards.
Well, it's not the Joker. It's Cholo Joker. It's hey, bro. Like the whole time I saw Joker with all those braids, that grill and shit. I was waiting for him to say. I was waiting for him to go all Latino gangbanger on everyone. You know, hey, you think that's funny, Holmes? No, I don't. I'll show you what's funny, Holmes. Hey, man, we don't need to do with this. We really, I don't want any trouble. Trouble? My point is that I didn't like Jared Leto's Joker. I thought it was kind of stupid looking. And it's like Suicide Squad was such a missed opportunity because they already had a good Suicide Squad movie that all they had to do was just fucking adapt that story, which was Assault on Arkham. But they fucked that up because it's Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers is the Square Enix of movie studios when it comes to their DC properties. Like they will find a way to fuck it up somehow, some way.
Sadly.
No matter what, they will find a way to fuck it up. But with that being said, I guess we can move on to the second topic because I don't want to just kick WB while they're down, even though it is fun. So I haven't watched The Predator yet, but what are your guys' thoughts on it? If you want to have any thoughts on it.
I've been hearing that one of the actors for that movie is an alleged sex offender.
No, not alleged. He did that shit. He was convicted and everything. There's evidence. That right? Yeah. Well, Shane Black was helping his friend out. He's a convicted sex offender, like he's registered. And basically he was saying inappropriate things to a 14-year-old girl or on the internet. Like basically some Chris Hansen shit. Like really, he's like, I didn't say anything. It's like, well, we've got the transcripts. Oh shit.
He's apt.
So he's definitely. I mean, basically, okay, a 30-something-year-old man should not be saying sexually explicit things to a 14-year-old girl. Period. So yes, he's a. And not only was it a 14-year-old girl, it was like his second or third cousin. So it's like almost incestuous. Well, actually, it is incestuous. Yeah. And Shane Black ought to have been fucking ashamed. Like, look. He's like, I want to help my friend out. Then fucking have him work at craft services, or getting coffee for people. Don't put this dude in the fucking movie. I'm sorry.
I mean, this movie is already panned enough from critics and fans. We don't need this news to make this movie even more controversial.
Well, I mean, I don't know how panned it is. Like the people I've seen, the people who watched it said that they liked it and it was fun. Maybe not their ideal Predator movie, but it's fun. So I'll give my take on it tomorrow when I watch it. But from what I've heard, it's fun. Okay, which I mean, at the end of the day, that's
all that matters.
Yeah, you want to have fun, but it's not alleged. Alleged is like you were never convicted, but
sorry, I didn't mean to say alleged.
No, he did that shit. He was convicted. He's a registered sex offender, which is just. I mean, like Shane Black, I know you want to help your friend out and everything, but I'm sorry. Like everyone's like, he did his time. No, he's a fucking pedophile. I mean,
who the F?
I mean, I'm sorry. I know you want to help out your friend. Like they did their time. Yeah, they may have did their time, but you're still a fucking pedophile. I mean, I wouldn't trust you around anybody. I mean, especially when you had that little kid on set.
Figure out your restraining orders, please.
Well, the thing is that they've discovered that, like, everyone used to think that, you know, if a pedophile messed with girls, he just like messing with little young underage girls. No, pedophiles will fuck with anybody that's a child. So I mean, Shane Black needs his ass whooped for having a pedophile on there, and then didn't tell anybody that they would be working with a fucking pedophile.
Kind of reminds me of those old 50s PSAs where they show little boys being preyed on by an adult man.
Really?
Though they call them homosexual rather than pedophiles.
I don't remember those PSAs, but of course I consider a lot of those 50s
PSAs.
PSAs to be bullshit, because these are the same PSAs were like, man, pot's gonna make you go crazy. Really? I mean, I don't
It
smoke weed,
depends
but
on
I've never seen
it
a
depends on the
pothead kill
mindset
anybody.
there.
Now, maybe eat everything out your fridge, but they're not gonna kill anybody. These are also the PSAs that say, in case of a nuclear attack,
Explosion.
hide under a desk and duck and hide under a desk, like some wood's
If
gonna fucking
those
save you from a nuclear fireball.
if those deaths are not registered to be
Nowadays,
radiation safe, then you're dead anyways.
You're fucked. Okay, if you're in a nuclear explosion, you're fucked. Okay, you might as well look at the lady, if there's a lady next to you, and say, well, we got about 15 minutes to live. You want to fuck? That might be more fun than just hiding under a desk and being irradiated to death. At least you can go out having fun.
Not unless you live in a fallout shelter.
Maybe you can time it so just as you're coming, you can die, so that you can come and go at the same time.
Oh.
But that requires exquisite timing. But that's neither here nor there. Let's.
Someone should make a movie about it, though.
What, a nuclear fallout? Oh, there is a movie. There is a movie about the nuclear fallout. It was this TV movie that had like people that would later go on to be like majorly important movie stars, but this was before they were famous. And basically, it's this really downer of a film because like instead of going to shelter, they just hide in their house and they gradually die of radiation poisoning. It's one of the most depressing fucking movies. I think it's like Those Left Behind or some shit like that. It's depressing as fuck. Like radiation poisoning is one of the worst ways to die. It's horrific. But let's move away from that downer ass topic.
Moving on to other movie news.
Star Trek got the Governor's Award. It's basically an honor lifetime achievement thing for people or franchises that in pop culture, in the movie, television sphere, whatever. So, what are your guys' thoughts on that?
I say it pretty much deserves it since it's been going around for 50 years.
52 years, yeah. Yeah, 52 years of boldly going where no man has gone before, seeking out new life, new civilizations. Captain Kirk trying to fuck it. Boldly going where no one has gone before. So, your guys' thoughts on that?
I say, when is Godzilla gonna get its award?
Well, I mean, here's what I was gonna say. I think CBS paid for this award to be given because basically they want to get people back into Star Trek after pissing people off with Star Trek Discovery Season 1. I don't think it's gonna work. I don't think Toho is gonna give a big check to whoever holds that award so that Godzilla will get one. Even though Godzilla deserves it, because Godzilla's been around longer than
Star Trek.
Than Star Trek, yeah. I mean, they're both old. Hell, Doctor Who owes it because Doctor Who's older than Godzilla. Because Doctor Who was in the 40s. Like the late 40s, like 48, 49. It was like a BBC radio drama.
I thought it started in the 60s.
No. Doctor Who started as a radio drama on the BBC. It was like a radio show. Let me look it up because I'm pretty sure it's older than Godzilla. Because look, Doctor Who. No, I lied. It's 1963, so it's not as old as Godzilla.
But it is older than Star Trek.
Yes, it is. It is older than Star Trek. Yeah, it started in 1962 on the 1962. So I mean, that's old. I mean, it deserves to have a you know, it deserves to have some. It deserves. I mean, there's tons of stuff that deserves to have. Like Doctor Who deserves to have a Governor's Award. The Twilight Zone, The Outer Limits.
So who's on the board awarding these things? Seriously.
I don't know. Let me look it up. Governor's Award Board. Governor's Award. So basically, it's like an honorary Oscar. Yeah, it's basically an honorary Oscar. And what I'm seeing right here is here the 2017 honorees were Charles Burnett, Owen Roisman, Donald Sutherland, and Agnes Varda. And this year, like Jackie Chan got one. Like it's basically like, okay, like you haven't got. I think Donald Sutherland has gotten an Oscar. I'm not entirely sure, but I think he has. But like it's like, okay, you've put in, you've been here for years. You've put in, you've done your time. You deserve to have something. So here, you know, it's like here's recognition for all the shit you've done. I think this year, what's her name? Kathleen Kennedy's getting one. Which, I mean, what she's done with Star Wars under Disney, notwithstanding, she's been a part of a lot of really important shit that people love. Like she was a part of the Indiana Jones, the good ones. She was a part of Jurassic Park, the first one.
She was also a part of The Land Before Time.
Yeah. She's been a part of a lot of like your favorite franchises. So, I mean, she kind of deserves it.
Which is good. After all, some people miss getting recognized for their work.
Oh yeah, there's tons of people who kind of deserve credit for shit. I mean, you might not like George Lucas, but he deserves something. All the cool shit he gave us. I mean, he gave us Willow, folks. Willow. Warwick Davis is a little midget sorcerer. And Val Kilmer. And look, listen. I know I always say I like watching good movies, but I fucking love Howard the Duck, even though it's a shitty movie. I love that movie so much. But then again, I like puppets and people in costumes. Like, even a shitty movie, if you have someone in a costume that's like moderately good, I'm down with it. I'm like, I love this shit. It's terrible, but I love it.
Probably why you were enjoying the Muppets rated R movie.
yeah, I did. Like I was watching it in a movie theater, and there's this scene where this puppet is horrifically like ripped apart by dogs, and like this guy's laughing next to me, but I'm like, oh my god, someone save that person! Like in my head, because I like animatronics and puppeteering and stuff like that. Okay then, so I guess we've talked about it. So I guess we can get on to the final topic, which is upcoming sci-fi properties we're happy about. We're thinking about. We want them to do well.
Let's see. I was thinking Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, hoping it does well. Probably the only good thing Sony has done with Spider-Man in years. Then there's also the Godzilla King of the Monsters next year. Hoping that does well. And And I'm also hoping that the Shazam movie does well as too, probably to end DC's bad movie streak.
Okay, I'm gonna say something, and I know some people are gonna get mad at me, but I'm gonna say it. Speaking of DC's bad movie streak, okay, since everyone thinks that Batman needs to be dark and gritty, but I don't know about you, I'm tired of traditional, you know, Bruce Wayne, dark dour in the cave. I'm tired of new actors every few years. So here's my idea so that they can build a new franchise, but still have it be dark and gritty and contemporary and enjoyable. Okay? Get Michael Keaton, right? Age him up a little bit because he's in really good shape for his age. Age him up a little bit and do Batman Beyond. Okay? He's old, like broken down, all chewed up and tired Bruce Wayne training Terry McGinnis. Do that fucking movie. You could do an entirely new trilogy. Hell, if you do it right, you could do spin-offs for years. Get a young star who's unknown to be Terry McGinnis and basically like you could do some amazing things. It could work.
I suspect it to be animated like Into the Spider-Verse.
No. Don't animate it. Make it live action. Because if you've got Michael Keaton, why animate it? That doesn't. Because he's the right age that he could play an old, kind of broken down. Just age him up just a little bit. Or if you wait another 5 or 6 years, he'll be the right age. Just give him a cane and have him pretend to be an old Bruce Wayne. It'd be perfect. Old, busted down Bruce Wayne. Like the first movie would be Terry McGinnis's origins as, Batman Beyond. Like you could show, like a Batman in his mid 60s, still trying to be a vigilante in the Batman Beyond costume, but he has a stroke in the middle of the thing. He's like, I can't do this shit anymore. So he quits being Batman for 10 years.
I thought that when he was reaching for a gun was when he went
Yeah,
bad.
yeah, he has a stroke while he's wearing it because the suit, like his body's all fucked up from years of. Because like, despite what many people may tell you, Batman's just a dude, and he's been in a lot of punishment, and so he's like, look, like I'm gonna use this gun to shoot this punk, and he doesn't shoot the guy, but he's like, I can't, my body's failing me, I can't do it anymore. So he retires, and Batman leaves Gotham. And Gotham goes back into being a shithole, right? Because
don't you mean even a worse one?
Gotham's always about 6 months from Batman not being there to going back into being a total shithole because it has apparently the worst police force in the DC cinematic universe. The DC.
But didn't you say that Gotham City would have been a better city if Batman didn't intervene with the criminal activities?
Well, I'm saying if you follow the logic of Batman Year One, which like Batman Year One, if you read that comic, Batman takes out the crime syndicates that run Gotham, which in turn paves the way for like the fantastical criminals, like your Catwoman, your Jokers, your Penguins, like people like that. The Condiment King, the Clockwork King, Killer Croc, Bane, Mr. Freeze, like
the villains that really are out there.
Like think of it like this, okay? Let's say you have a garden, right? Or an area you want to turn into a garden, and it's filled with weeds, or it's filled with like grass that you don't necessarily like, but it's not like terrible. But you clear it out, and you clear out that area, and you fertilize it, but you don't plant anything. Then it gets taken over by like super weeds. That's basically what Batman did.
And surprised that nobody tried to plant something where those weeds are starting to grow.
Well, if you make it, it's kind of like when you sterilize something, right? Like it becomes a breeding ground for bacteria because what was already there has been completely taken down to the point where it's negligible. So it becomes a fertile ground for new shit to get in there. Well, that's basically what happened to Gotham City in year one. Like Gotham has never been like the best place in the world to live. It's always been like tolerable. Like, I mean, if you had to live in a fictitious city, I would rather live in Metropolis. Because look, if some shit jumps down, I mean, and not Man of Steel Metropolis, like Silver Age, Golden Age Metropolis. Oh shit, that building's on fire. Oh, don't worry, Superman will deal with it. Bank robbers are robbing the bank. Don't worry, Superman will deal with it. We don't have to worry about that. Even the cops are like, I got it, you know. Superman's like, here's the evidence. You can put him in jail. Thanks, Superman. You know, Metropolis, much better place to live than Gotham. But no, like I think Batman kind of made things worse, and which is why he's constantly like, Gotham needs me because he made things worse. And yet, conversely, he's the only thing that keeps it from getting even
worse.
Yeah. So he's the problem. He's also the cure. It's a weird dichotomy, but that's neither here nor there. I'm just saying that would be an awesome. I would watch that DC series. Do like a live action Batman Beyond, and you could fix a lot of the shit that Zack Snyder fucked up. Like you could have like an old Bruce Wayne meet old Superman, but old Superman looks way better than old Bruce Wayne. Because he's a Kryptonian, so he doesn't age at the same rate. So like they're both around the same age, like say they're like in their late 70s, early 80s, but like Superman looks great. He's like, Bruce, you look good. It's like, yeah, well, I don't look as good as you do. You know, have Aqua Girl, because it's like this is like 50 years after Batman was in his prime, so all those people are gone or gone to do other things or whatever. A new Green Lantern, you know, I mean, you could move the series forward and not be tied to the shit that Zack Snyder did. I think that could work because I mean, look, listen, Batman is a huge moneymaker, but people are tired of the standard interpretation of Batman. And I think Batman Beyond would be good because you have Batman, you have Bruce Wayne, but you have Bruce Wayne instead of being like, I'm Batman, he's the mentor, right? And you can see someone taking on the mantle of being Batman their own way. Because Terry McGinnis, while he does have a lot of he has a lot of the qualities and characteristics of the original Batman. He does do his own thing. For example, he fights dirty. He has no problem punching someone in the crotch. Batman didn't really fight dirty unless he was fighting Bane. Then he was like, okay, look, I gotta fight dirty. This motherfucker's gonna break my back again.
How many surgeries did Batman have after Bane got him?
He was in traction for like a year. He was not in good shape. But yeah, that's my pitch. Anyone have anything else they want to here's something. Anyone here excited about Venom being PG-13?
I was about to mention that.
Well, we got like 9 minutes until we got to wrap things up. So I'm just asking, anyone excited about a PG-13 Venom movie?
Apparently, it's going to be an Indiana Jones style PG-13.
Yeah, I don't trust it. It's PG.
I'm trying not to facepalm here. Please don't make me do it.
Yeah, I'm done. I just don't care at this point. I give no shits. So, yeah, I got no. I just don't. No. I'm done. I'm done. I mean, I wasn't really excited about the shit to start with, but
It really went downhill when it said PG-13, right?
well, first of all, when they were like, okay, it's not really like he doesn't get his powers from Spider-Man, which I mean, that's one of the core tenets of Venom is that the reason he has the powers that he does is because this black symbiote suit was originally on Peter Parker, who's Spider-Man. So it doesn't have that connection. And you've got Tom Hardy, who Tom Hardy cannot carry a movie by himself. He's never every movie that he's been the main character of, it's not done well. Like they're gonna put it, and then it's PG-13. Yeah, I'm done. Your guys' thoughts on it?
I see this gonna be an absolute disaster. Now mention of Spider-Man, which the powers are supposed to be originated from.
I expect it to be terrible with or without the fact that it's rated R, because it already messed up its origins already.
Yeah, but if it was rated R, you could have at least had some really cool gore. You know what I mean? Like it's like the new Predator movie. The new Predator movie, from what I've heard from the people who don't like it, they're like, I don't like it, but it has really good kills in it. So at least you're like, well, it's rated R. I can see people die horrifically. You can't even see people die horrifically in this shit. So it's like, I mean, we should have known something was like a turd in the wind. Really? Really?
Really?
Really? Yeah, really? Okay. Yeah, we're done. We're done. Yeah, we're done. Sony, you just can't stop fucking up, can you? You know, you will find a way to fuck up somehow, some way. No matter what, Sony will find a way to fuck something up. They can't help themselves. They're like, okay, all you got to do is just hold this button, and everything's gonna be okay. No, I can't do that. If I do that, something bad will happen. Fuck. You had one job. So I guess that's the end of the cast. Anything you guys want to pimp out before we wrap things up?
Nothing at the moment.
I'm clear.
Okay, then. So this is Mr. Red Fox here, speaking on another Sci-Fi Power Hour-ish. Stay tuned for tomorrow, where we'll be talking about the video game news of the week. So obviously, the big thing is going to be that Nintendo Direct. And we also have a Questionathon, where we have some viewer-submitted questions.
As well as people's saltiness over a certain character reveal.
I don't know who's salty about any characters being revealed in Smash Brothers. I mean,
people who are expecting to know Isaac or Skull Kid.
Yeah, but that was never a guaranteed thing. We knew that Isabelle was probably going to be there, and she was. She's a character. She beats people up. She's got a similar. She's got a kind of similar moveset to the Villager, but she's not so much that she's a Echo character, so it doesn't matter.
It's because of some kind of leaker who suggests that Skull Kid is going to be revealed in the Direct.
Yeah, but Skull Kid could probably be like a assist trophy or something. I don't know, but that's neither here nor there. That's the end of the podcast. Thank you. Thank you for watching. Remember, rate, comment, share, subscribe. We have the Sci-Fi Power Hour-ish every Saturday, 7:30 to 8:30 Eastern Standard Time, PM. We have the BS Busters every Sunday, 7:30 to 9, so it's an hour and a half podcast, Eastern Standard Time, PM. So thank you. If you would like to be a guest on one of these panels, get in contact with me on Mr. Red Fox BS Busters at gmail.com, and I'll contact you. We can dialogue with each other, work something out. Thank you. Have a good night and peace.
and hype responsibly.